Keegan.
Jacob.
Keegan.
What's up, buddy?
Michael's officially a jelly dude. A jelly bro.
Michael, our emailer?
Our first emailer, yeah.
What did Michael say?
He said he's listened to everything now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he wants Joe back. He wants the Jelly Dad back. So
the gelatinous dad.
The gelatinous dad. He specifically, I think it'd be really interesting. Or specifically pointed out something interesting during the Satanic Panic. Joe was most likely playing during that, and also, I imagine probably had a pretty religious family.
Yeah, I know he's like, I don't know that his parents were super. Yeah, I'll have to.
I'd love to have Joe back.
Yeah, I think we'll have to. That sounds like a super interesting episode, actually. The playing D&D during the Satanic Panic. That's a pretty good one. Thank you for the suggestion again, Michael. Our first and second emailer.
What do we call our peeps? The people who listen. Should we just call them jellies?
Jellies is funny. I mean, they're also, we're the gelatinous dudes, but they can be the gelatinous dudes as well. I mean, it's a big family, you know? Or like jellies. Jellies is very, very funny.
I think jellies is a good way to put it.
But spelled like how you spelled it that one time in our bio, like with the G.
Yeah, with the G.
So it's branded, it's not just it's word branded. Jellies.
We have a trademark on it.
It's branded.
I'm applying for a trademark.
Jellies with a G like gelatinous. Why is gelatinous? The word is gelatinous, but jelly is spelled with a J. Why is that? I wonder what the etymology is.
Yeah, I wonder if it has something to do with Jello.
Yeah, is it like Band-Aid? Like everybody spells jelly with a J because it's like Jello, even though that came from gelatinous. It's like a brand loyalty.
Dude, like Allen is like a brand of wrench, and then now everyone calls any hex bolt an Allen key.
Oh, you're so right. All right, well, Jello, if you want to sponsor us.
Jello. We can get Jellos in our colors.
Oh, it's Kraft. It's Heinz.
Oh, interesting.
So, Kraft Heinz, feel free if you want to sponsor us. We'll do an episode
also
about,
spelled weird. With a K. Kraft with a K.
I think they just can't spell. I think whoever founded the company has dyslexia. Kraft, Jello.
It's got to have been someone's last name. This is so
Heinz is
far from anything.
Yeah, you're right. We should focus up here. All right, I have a real D&D tabletop RPG question here for us to get back on track.
Okay.
And it's something that I personally have struggled with. This has been a problem for me with multiple characters, and I want to get your feedback on it.
Okay.
How do I handle the party?
Hold on, I have to know. Was I involved in this? I mean, obviously I was involved in this, but was I one of the offending?
No. You were the DM for the biggest time of this thing. Yeah.
All right.
This was my paladin. This was Lucky, my paladin.
Oh shit. Okay.
The question is from Possible Ad 9790. Thank you, Possible Ad. They ask, how do I handle my party wanting to do something against my paladin's oath? I finally got into D&D a little over a month ago, and I found some people who wanted to run a homebrew campaign at a game store near me. I've been having a great time, but I'm not really sure how to handle the RP aspect. I decided to play Devotion Paladin with an oath centered on protecting the innocent, because the playstyle and that kind of character really appealed to me. Classic character, very good, very strong. We like that.
Yeah.
That has been working out for the most part, but last session we found out a pretty clearly evil ice witch had a magic item we needed to progress the main purpose of our campaign, and to my surprise, the party wanted to bargain with her instead of fighting her. I didn't really want to force the party into a fight they didn't want to have, so I mostly just stayed silent while the other party members found out the witch wanted us to kill some innocent guy who lived a few villages over so she could steal his memory. I thought maybe I could talk them out of it on the way there, but we ended up getting teleported there, and the session ended right before we were about to approach him. Our session ended right as the game store was closing, so I didn't really have a chance to talk to the other players or the DM. As I said, I'm pretty new to D&D, so I'm not really sure how to handle this. From an RP perspective, killing an innocent man for an evil witch is absolutely not something my character would allow to happen, but at the same time, I know it's really bad form to go against what the rest of the party wants to do. I've created a new character at the time, at the same level, who is a little more morally gray just in case, and I'm planning on talking to everyone above the table. Sorry, this is a lot of grammar stuff here happening. I'm trying to fix it in my brain. Talking to everyone above the table before next session and see how everyone wants to play this out. Does this seem like a good idea, or am I taking this way too seriously and should just ignore this breach of my oath for party cohesion?
Mm.
What do you think?
Yeah, oof.
This is a really difficult thing when you make a character who has like very strong morals in either direction, if it doesn't totally line up with the party.
Yeah, it's hard because a party, most parties, I would say, like, if you think about a D&D party, you're probably thinking of kind of a more murder hobo-y party.
Mm-hmm.
So like having a paladin with a really strong morals, like you said, makes that kind of difficult.
Yeah.
So he wants to know what he should do.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas, couple suggestions. If you don't have an immediate reaction,
I mean, if I was playing a paladin, I think I've played one paladin maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was playing a paladin who's centered around like protecting the innocent, like I think that could be interesting for like what's the right word? Some like party, some anger between party members. I mean makes the story completely like really interesting.
Yeah.
I would say like roll with it. Like your if that's the way you think your character would be, then you should play it that way. And obviously with the next steps would be for a party would be, okay, how do we do this in a way that makes everyone happy?
Yeah.
Or find a different way to complete whatever task we need to complete. Yeah.
It seems like this person is pretty interested in like the role play aspect of it, and wants to play that out. But they're also playing at a game store. So I have a couple thoughts here. If you're playing amongst friends and like people you trust or whatever, which that could be these people at the game store, I don't know. Or this is just advice for anyone playing with like their home group or their friends or whatever. If you're playing with friends and people you trust, I would say absolutely stand up for it. Play your paladin, the way that you built them, and just, say, I refuse to do this. It's against my oath. Like, we have to find another way to do this. Whatever. And cause that inter-party conflict. That's fun. That's interesting. That's a good story, of some inter-party conflict where, you think one way, they think the other way. You have to find a compromise or somebody just wins out, right? That's interesting. If you're playing with a group where you don't know people as well and you're very scared of causing that conflict, and you want to go with the flow, I would say something you could do is let them kill the innocent guy, right? Let them do the thing you disagree with, and then as an interesting role play thing, be like, hey, like, I'm this paladin and I have this oath and I feel really bad about what we did. I think that was wrong.
What I was just thinking about.
Yeah, and so it's like I think that's, you didn't step on anybody's toes. You didn't like stop them from doing the thing that the party wanted to do, but you still get an interesting role play moment. Hopefully your DM's not like super punishing and is like, well, actually, since you broke your oath, you're not a paladin anymore. Now you have to be Oathbreaker or switch your class or something. Who knows? But I think that way you don't step on any of those toes, and you still get your interesting role play, and you get to play out your character in the way that you wanted to.
You could also maybe like lean into just be like, I can't be the one to do it. I'm not going to be involved in it. And then have your character maybe go do something else while it's happening.
Yeah. I mean,
then there's like fine. not like there's not like the guilt then that would come with it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like maybe it's going to be a little bit more of a difficult fight or encounter for your party, but then it's like, that's the consequence for, you trying to uphold your character, which is interesting. Also, I mean, this guy throws out that he has like a second character, which I wouldn't like totally buckle and just make a new character immediately. But if this is something that you're running into often in a certain campaign or in a certain like group, if you come to the table and you make this like paladin, and a couple sessions in, you realize that your party is kind of evil or murder hobo-y or morally gray or whatever, it's totally okay to be like, hey, I made this character to play this way, and it seems like the group kind of has this other idea. I'm going to switch out. I'm going to put this character in my back pocket. Maybe I'll play him in our next campaign. But I'm going to play this other character who I think could mesh with the group a little bit better because it's kind of hard with this character. I'm not having a lot of fun. And that's super valid, I think.
Or you could also like push to be like, all right, if we're gonna murder this guy, like he has to be deserving of death.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you have to try to find something in his past that makes him deserving of death.
you look into it, you like stalk him for days, being like, you find out that 20 years ago he killed somebody, and you're like, now we can kill him.
All right, now funny. An eye for an eye, I can get behind this.
Yeah. And so this is something that I said, that I have a lot of personal experience with, because when I was playing a paladin, I wanted to play a very morally just paladin. I had, we were playing Dungeon World at the time. One of the parts of the Paladin Oath in Dungeon World is like, one of the options is that like, you can't lie. So like my paladin literally couldn't lie. He was unable to tell a lie, which made for tons of funny role play when people would ask questions, and, we couldn't ever, as a party, like deceive them or, anything like that, because Lucky, his name was Lucky, he would just tell the truth. He would just say, exactly how it was. So it was really funny. It created a lot of like funny role play moments and interesting conflict and stuff. But our party definitely had some moments where we did some really morally gray stuff, and I really struggled at the time because same situation. I didn't want to like, I didn't want to like derail the way that the campaign was going. Basically, what happened was one of our other party members got framed for a murder, and we knew that he didn't do it, obviously, but, we like got thrown in jail, so we felt like the only way that we could get out of it was to like break out of jail and then go prove our innocence. But in the process of breaking out of jail and doing that whole thing, it was like this huge combat and action scene, and we killed a lot of people to get out of jail, and it was really bad. It was really like, it wasn't murder hobo because it wasn't just like killing for the sake of killing, but like, we were trying to prove our innocence or whatever, but like is not good. So it was definitely not like morally just, and so I felt really bad about it.
Proving your innocence by doing a murder.
Yeah, it just doesn't really work in hindsight, but I felt really bad because I didn't feel like I played the way that I wanted to play my character, but I also, like this guy, or girl, didn't want to step in the way of the thing that my party was doing and the way that the campaign was going. So I definitely like regretted it, but didn't really know what I could have done different. And so I definitely feel
I'm trying to think of what would have...
I think we got put in a pretty tough situation. I think as a DM...
I know, I put you in a rough spot kind of on purpose because... Well, there was a couple reasons. A little selfish. I wanted you guys to have to break someone out of the cool prison that I made.
Yeah.
And then that didn't happen.
And then we didn't, because there was like, we went to like a tiny like guard post jail. There was like a really big prison in the campaign on like an island. It was like a very Alcatraz like thing. It was super cool. And yeah, we were going to get sent there, but because of the prison break that we did, managed to not go. But yeah, I think as a DM, just be aware of your party's morals and like, which I don't think this is your fault. I think, because we didn't technically have to do a prison break or whatever. But if you're aware of your party's morals and you know that somebody has like a particular moral code in some direction, try not to like pinhole them into a situation where they can't get out of it without doing that. Same thing. If you have like a character in a party who's kind of evil and selfish or whatever, don't like, try to redeem them by being like, you can only escape this dungeon if you are pure of heart, and so you have to change your ways. It's like, let them play the character the way they want to do it, and don't try to put them in a situation where they have to do something bad as a character who's good, or they have to do something good as a character who's kind of morally gray or bad. Like, try to set them up to play out that character fantasy, right? So if they're a good paladin and they want to do what's right, give them situations to save innocent people and to do the right thing, and because that's what's going to feel good to them. It's going to look cool to everybody else. Like playing into that character fantasy is just always really, really fun.
Yeah. And I think if you're in like a group like ours where we're all pretty close, I think it is good to like test the boundaries on the characters. Like with Lucky, I think it was good that there was some like internal conflict there with him. Like, should I have not done this? And that led to like really cool growth in the character.
Yeah, it ended up being really cool. And I think that's
for like a game store party, and that's not to like dog on that. Like, you can totally have like a lot of fun with that. I would maybe not push that onto players very much.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's just good advice in general. Like, just as a little side note here, like playing into that character fantasy, like as a DM is like it's OP is what it is. It's an OP move as a DM, because you know what characters your players built. So, like for instance, Jake, you just built in our Daggerheart campaign. You have this rogue who's a very like Robin Hood type character. He's a ribbit. Yeah, he's a frog rogue. He's a very Robin Hood type character. Wants to steal from the rich, give it to the poor, because he knows, what that life is like, and he wants to make it better for people, right? Really good character, very classic archetype. I like it a lot. And so we've only had 2 sessions so far, but I already gave you a scenario where you were able to make some money, and then you went to this kind of loan shark guy who had a bunch of people in town in debt to him, and you paid off some of their debts. So you're already playing in that archetype. Yeah. You're already playing into that archetype, and I've given you some opportunities to do that. So yeah, I think as a DM, like whatever characters your players make, especially if it's inspired by something like that, if they're like, oh, I'm playing Robin Hood, or I'm playing, whatever.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that you should like lean into what they're kind of looking for. Mm-hmm. But I do still stand what I said, is like test their boundaries every once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and
like
so
give them the opportunity to do the really cool thing they want, but then also give them a really difficult situation where they have to make a hard choice.
Right. So expanding on that with your ribbit, his name is Fern. Fern, the rogue frog. You went to that. You went to that. Kind of. What was he? What did I even call him? Like
he's like a broker, I think.
Like a broker. He's kind of a. I didn't call him Lord. There was like a title I gave him. I can't remember. But yeah, he's kind of a broker. And you go to this guy, and he liked you. And he liked obviously that you're giving him money. I mean, that's his whole shtick. So he liked you, and he sat you down for a drink, and he told you stories. He was like a big game trophy hunter, and he had, taxidermy things all over the walls and stuff. And so he was telling you hunting stories. And this guy was obviously like kind of a selfish, just piece of shit. He was telling you these stories because, it boosted his own ego for someone to listen to him. And so I thought, of course you were doing your Robin Hood thing, but the flip side of that was you're kind of buddy with this debtor now who's like, he's kind of like everything you hate, and now he thinks you guys are like best friends, and he wants to invite you back for drinks again. So that's kind of how I pushed you.
Blind.
Yeah, that's where I kind of pushed you a little bit to be like, oh, like this goes against your character's thing. You're a Robin Hood, but now you're buddy with the town, broker. Like,
no, I kind of had it in mind also, because I mean, at the end when you're like, when I was like, oh, my brother would really like you, or would really like you. And then he's like, oh, please bring him by sometime. And I was like, yes, my trap has been set.
Oh yeah, you're totally playing him. But to the outside perspective, if somebody saw that or was told about your guys' relationship, people would think that you were in league with this guy, right? So that's how I'm kind of putting some pressure on your kind of character morality. Yeah,
especially because I went anonymous, like I didn't. I was like, don't tell anyone that I was the one that paid off their loans.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, that we'll still see how that plays out. But yeah, I think that's a good example of playing into somebody's archetype, and then also kind of putting some pressure on them to see if they, if that archetype that they've created is pressured. If if a choice comes up that puts that into question, will they bend? Will they break? Will they stick to it? Like, I think that's super interesting.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
All right. I have another one here that we definitely have experienced in D&D 5th edition.
Oh, wait.
And it's...
Keegan, hold on.
Uh-huh.
Pause for a second. Hi, everybody. My name's Jake, and this is my best buddy, Keegan. We're the Johannes Dudes.
Damn it! We never do the intro. We never intro. All right, 20 minutes in, we're the gelatinous dudes. Fuck, man.
I just thought about that.
We we got it like 5 minutes last time. We said we were gonna go under 3. It's 20 minutes.
Yeah. Just 20 minutes later.
Next time I'm gonna do it at the end of the episode. I'm gonna wait till the end and be like, "Hey guys,
we're the gelatinous dudes. Bye."
Yeah, that's ridiculous. All right, so I have another one for us.
All right, what do you got?
Okay, so Nugget8433 asks, I like Nugget. Death doesn't feel like a realistic outcome in combat, which I think is fair. We've played a lot of D&D 5th edition, and
we have played so much D&D 5th edition.
We've just played it a lot. Here, let me read Nugget's full response here for his specific situation or their specific situation. Like the title implies, my players can't seem to be in any risk of dying whatsoever. I don't want this to come off like I want to kill my players, but it feels like they're rarely challenged in combat. After every major combat, they take a short rest and get back to full health. I cannot figure out how to add a random encounter without it feeling unfair. And in combat, my cleric and bard spam cast Cure Wounds as soon as someone gets knocked down, and no one ever dies. One of my player's monks died, no exaggeration, or went down, I think this guy means, 3 times in my last combat and came back to life immediately after because my cleric moved right after the enemy and just cast Cure Wounds to bring him back up. My question is essentially this. How do I make my character's death a more real possibility? Is there a house rule that I could use to circumvent the Cure Wounds cheese? Again, I don't want this to come off like I want to kill my players, but it feels exhausting to have the players immediately bring another player back to life and have them be perfectly fine after they died. It feels unrealistic for the enemies in world to be such pushovers and for the players to be immortal killing machines. Thank you in advance.
Okay, so there's 2 things that immediately come to mind. The first thing is that your players are probably doing short rests wrong. When you do a short rest, you are supposed to expend a number of hit die equal to or less than your level, right?
Yeah.
You regain 1 hit die back every time you long rest thereafter. So if I was level 11 and I short rested, I need to take... and I was like, I'll just use all 11 of my hit die. I would then need to take 11 long rests before I regain all of my hit die.
You get half your spent hit dice rounded down.
Half rounded down.
If you long rest. So if you have 6 and you spend...
Oh, really? I've been playing it wrong then.
Yeah, you get half of them back. So it's not super unrealistic, but continue.
But yeah, so they should not... it sounds like they're doing short rests a lot. They should not have all their hit die every single time.
Right.
Was kind of the point of that. And then the next thing is Cure Wounds. I mean, the most spell slots that you can have, if I'm not mistaken, is 4. Uh-huh. So unless they're using all...
Well, they could cast at higher levels.
4 per level. Yeah, 4 per level.
Yeah.
But, like, if a fight's decently long and hard, they should be running out of spell slots.
Yeah. I agree with the, like, kind of... It does feel bad. D&D 5th edition combat feels bad in the way that people go down and get back up and go down and get back up and go down and get back up, and there's no, like, like, recourse for that.
Yeah.
Like, and that part I don't like at all, so I definitely agree with that. But there's a couple things here. I agree. Yeah, your players should not be able to short rest like this as often. And here's the thing: is you don't have to make someone interrupt their short rest to stop them from doing this and like feel bad because it feels unfair. Just make it random. Tell them, I'm going to roll 20-sided die on a 1 through 5. Somebody's going to find you here, and you roll it. So I that's just how the dice is. Or you can just establish that as a table rule, if you're playing in a very dangerous world and there's, all kinds of wandering monsters and bandits and things about, then it's not unrealistic that people will find you while you're trying to rest. If you're not resting like in a town and things. So, you could do that to make that happen sometimes and interrupt their short rest every once in a while. But also, like you said, like they only have a certain amount of resources. And so before the combats, there should be puzzles and traps and other things that make them expend some of those spell slots. Yeah, they should be spending their spells in other ways so that when a combat happens, they don't just have full spell slots every single time for Cure Wounds. Also, short rests don't bring spell slots back. Not for bards and
not
monk or clerics.
And clerics. It does for
warlocks, and wizards can get some back.
And sorcerers can use sorcery points when they short rest to get some.
So, bard and cleric, short rest shouldn't be giving them all these Cure Wounds back. So, make them spend their spell slots in other ways. Also, Cure Wounds is the bonus action. No, Cure Wounds is the action one. So
Healing Word is the bonus action one.
Yeah, it's not a ton of hit points. It's like a couple D8s at high level, a D8 at low level. So, or 2D8 now in D&D 1. Which, that causes that rubber bandy down, up, because they only get healed by like 10, and then the monster does 10 damage. It's not a big heal, but they really shouldn't be able to do it that many times because of the resources that they're spending. So,
I would probably... Now, I know that we are not... You have specifically said how much you don't like actual dungeons.
Yeah.
Because, like, going from room to room and getting in mini fights. But... maybe put some smaller combats in before you get into a big combat.
Yeah, there should be stuff.
And they can't take short rests like all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and don't you only get a certain amount of short rests before you have to take a long rest?
I think it's 2 or 3. I'm sure you're already typing.
I'm typing. This might just... Yeah, you get 2 short rests per long rest. So... Yeah, so they can only take 2 to do it. So I feel like maybe this could be a rules
mechanics thing. Yeah, you're not playing the rules right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Which, yeah, I see that a lot. Just this is not about Nugget 8433. I think we answered your question. I think there's some things you could do to help implement that. But side note, not about Nugget. As we've been browsing these subreddits and stuff to like find interesting questions and stories and people looking for advice, I don't know about you, I get flooded with posts as I'm looking through that are like, my players are breaking every combat, what do I do? And then you read the post and then it's like, they're just not ruling things correctly. Like they're like, my paladin uses divine smite, every single turn to do 150 damage. It's like, he only has like 4 of them. Like there's just, there's so many posts that are like, so
many spell slots.
Yeah, there's so many posts that are like, this is unfun or this game is broken. And then you read it and it's like, yeah, you're not playing the rules correctly, which like, I'm an advocate for not following the rules. Trust me.
I'm definitely a cool advocate here.
Yeah, our group hates the rules. But if you feel like things are breaking or not working correctly and you're not following the rules, like, okay, do you remember you had a character once? You were playing a barbarian.
I was playing the barbarian shark.
And it was a shark, it was a big shark guy, and he was a barbarian.
Sharkkin.
And the Sharkkin attack. Well, no, your barbarian, the Sharkkin gave him a bite. And the barbarian gives you a frenzy attack, where the frenzy attack, you could take an extra attack, but you would take a point of exhaustion or something. It was and so
didn't realize that
we didn't know, and so you were just getting a frenzy attack every single turn. So like really early on, you would attack, frenzy attack, and bite. So you had like 3 attacks that were all really good, and you were just mowing through everything. And we're like, what the hell? And like our DM was like, I'm gonna have to nerf his character. Like it's just too good. I don't know what to do. Like blah blah blah. We realized later that he can't frenzy attack every single turn because it gives you a point of exhaustion. Like his character should have died 10 times over by frenzy attacking that much. So make sure, if you're having a problem in any tabletop RPG, if you feel like something's broken or not working or something feels overpowered, make sure that you and your players all actually fully understand the rules. And, you weren't intentionally like cheating. It's not like you...
No, I just didn't read it.
You just didn't know. You just didn't read that part, and we didn't, remember that was like a barbarian mechanic, or anything. So, That's just how it happened.
I think this is like the first time we used D&D Beyond, and I was a little confused. It's like how it worked.
True, that was a long. Yeah, that was really early on. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, because I remember because I had to make like the Sharkkin race so that I could actually play it.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we used D&D Beyond.
Yeah. So read the rules, guys.
Yeah, I think we talked
about it. Things are not
it.
going well. Read the rule.
We talked about it a little bit before. I think like these people that make these games know what they're doing. They're not going to like implement some random like rule breaking, game breaking mechanic that's just so overpowered it makes the game absolutely unplayable. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
so
or if it does exist, most likely, it's like a very creative thing. Like someone multi-classed and took this feat and took this feat, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, that's broken. But like, if you have a player that's just like playing a barbarian,
assassin rogue with a gunslinger fighter, it's fucking broken.
Yeah, like
that's just how it is.
There's stuff out there, but like if you're just like a level 4 barbarian and you're like wiping the floor with everything, it's like there could be something else going on that you're just not quite understanding, or the DM isn't. So,
yeah, read the rules a little bit. Make your encounters a little longer beforehand. Definitely follow the short rest thing because
you can challenge them in other ways that are not combat. Challenge them, and like a dungeon, but it doesn't have to be the dungeon format, but there can be puzzles, there can be, roadblocks and things that your players come across that they have to might have to spend some spell slots and resources and things on. Yeah.
If your players only have combat spells, you're not doing enough utility stuff. Like little things that make them use utility spells.
Yeah.
Like there has to be if Keegan, if you were to give me a game and we never looked for traps and we never spot hidden things and we never had to look for anything, I would never take any of those utility spells.
Right.
But because we do that, I'm going to take the utility spells and it's going to take up spell slots and it's going to take up space that I could have for other spells.
For healing and damage and things that are like combat related. Yeah, I agree. So make sure you have all those things so that they have to take some of those spells as well. Because Cure Wounds on its own is not going to break the game. Cure Wounds is not that much healing, actually. And it takes your whole turn. It's their whole action. So you're saying that your rogue or your bard and cleric are spamming Cure Wounds, but it's like then they just have a bonus action. So your bard and cleric are not doing anything, so it can't be that busted, right? Like,
yeah.
Separate the party. Cure Wounds is touch.
They should run out of spell slots.
Yeah, Cure Wounds is touch. Separate the party. Make an enemy that splits the floor or does interesting things where your cleric and your bard can't get in touch range of the monk.
That's super cool. Big boss that like hits the ground and separates them.
Yeah. And then, or they have to like, make an athletics roll to jump the gap, it has a certain DC. Make it harder to get those touch spells.
Like one raises and one lowers. They have to give one damage if they jump the down or something.
Yeah. There's ways to challenge your players and do interesting stuff that's not like, it doesn't feel like DM versus the players, like you're not trying to kill them. Like you said, that was his big thing. He didn't want to kill his players. It's just, he wanted it to be more challenging. So, sometimes you got to get creative to challenge them.
There's no feeling that death is an option.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
play, not D&D for the decision. Dungeon
World.
Also that. Dungeon World and Daggerheart handle it way better when it comes to death and going down and things. Their rules around it are much, much, much better.
One thing we talked about is you said interrupting short rests. Like Dungeon World has a mechanic built in for that.
Yeah, exactly. So try a lot of games. They might fit your DM style better if you feel like that. You don't want to run dungeons, you don't want to do puzzles, you don't want to do whatever to make your players use the resources. Other games handle it better
and are significantly simpler. I will also add.
True. All right. We've been the
I got a little guy here.
No.
I got a little guy.
Okay.
I got a little guy. Am I the only one? Weird Obsessions says, am I the only one? Am I the only dungeon master that just adores picking up the dice and rolling a d20 at random points in the session while the players are distracted to get them scared?
Oh, that's so funny. No, you're not the only one.
I do it so often.
I find it so funny to just roll a d20 and just, they hear the clatter in the dice tray and they're like, what was that for? Oh, no, don't worry about it.
Big Kevin literally will look up and go, what was that? What was that?
Nothing, man. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, brother.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do it. I do it a lot, mostly because like I kind of am fidgety. Like I kind of have to be playing with something in my hand. But like otherwise, I also do it a lot because sometimes I'll do nothing with it, and then sometimes I will actually like roll for something.
Yeah, sometimes
and
I'll like roll it.
If I never do it for no reason, then when I do it for a reason, you guys are like, "What was it? What was it?"
True, and sometimes I'll roll it, and if it rolls really badly, I'm like, okay, maybe it does mean something. Maybe maybe there is a random encounter actually.
Maybe God willed this.
Yeah. All right. We've been the Gelatinous Dudes. My name is Keegan. This is my best buddy Jake. We love talking about tabletop RPG stuff. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Michael, again for the email. I'll have to ask my dad if he wants to get on another episode, talk about playing D&D during the Satanic Panic. That's a super interesting episode. If anyone else has episode ideas or tabletop RPG stories or advice that they need in their games, anything, please leave a comment on Spotify or email us. Our email's in the description. We would love to hear from you. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
Share the show with your friends.
Yeah, share it. Goodbye.
Bye.